Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continually teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's laboring in his word and truth and sincerity. Lord willing, this could be an edifying video. And it's not going to be a long video. Okay, pretty much, breaking news. All right, this is only day 3 of 2026. And we're in the time of war, man. Okay, we're in a time of war. And it's only a matter of time before a big event happens that causes the dollar to completely crash. All right, and this whole situation, all this is going to do is push BRICS closer together. And, everybody is seeing that you cannot be independent. Okay, I was just seeing an article. Well, it was a paragraph by this page that put up articles. And it said that pretty much no nation is safe being independent, because the U.S. and Israel are pretty much, they're going to get you, man. And Trump changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War, and all they're doing is pushing war in the earth. Okay, and everybody's getting tired of it, man. But you see right here, breaking President Trump says U.S. captured Venezuelan President Maduro and his wife. Okay, now he's saying they're going to be strongly involved in the oil industry, in Venezuela's oil industry, because they about to put this bitch in there as the new president, and she's talking about having a embassy in Israel. So we already know what's going on, man. Okay, but China condemned it. Brother sent the article. France condemned it. I seen an article. Russia condemned it. Okay, and China actually had a delegation over there in Venezuela when this went down. So this is breaking news, man. China tells its citizens in Venezuela to avoid going out. Okay. And this is only day 3 of 2026. And here it is. This guy, DJ Trump, he promised you he would stop all the wars. He said he would be the peace president. There would be no more wars. He would stop the Ukraine war in 24 hours. Well, that's not the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. The will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is that there's war on the earth. Okay, but I'm going to start off here. Like I said, this ain't going to be a long video. Okay, this is breaking news. All right, it's a lot going on, man. Okay, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Okay, jumping to verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. And we're in the time of war. Okay? We're in the time of war because Babylon wants to stay the dominant force in the earth. Meanwhile, Russia, China, they're pushing for a multipolar world. Okay, and Iran, we see what's going on there. Okay, Trump then threatened that if Iran kills any of the protesters, that Trump said he's going to militarily get involved. And Israel is going to jump in too. Okay, the U.S. and Israel is waging war everywhere, man. BB is talking about opening a front in Africa. Trump hit Nigeria. It's a lot going on, man. We're clearly in a time of war. And this is only going to escalate into a global war, man, a global conflict. And your allies is beginning to look at you sideways like, what the fuck is you doing, man? That's how they looking at Babylon. Okay? You doing too much, man. So now they got Maduro, and they say they got him in the U.S., and they about to, put all these charges on him, and most likely they're going to torture that guy. And you already know what they're going to do with his wife. I don't understand why he didn't just go out fighting like he said he would. But, we're gonna see what happens with all of this. Okay? But this is all going to lead up to a global conflict because China and Russia had strategic interests in Venezuela. Now that's gone. And they're seeing like if you don't stop these motherfuckers militarily, they're going to take away all of your strategic interests. Okay? And that's why Russia is going to be a guard unto Persia, man, unto the Iranians, because they cannot allow the Babylon and the Tiny Tops to take away their strategic interest in the so-called Middle East. And Iran is a BRICS member, so they have to defend them, man. They have to. Okay, North Korea is going to get in. China's going to get in. Okay. It's about to go down, man. We in that time, man. All right, we brought this out at camp. This Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. And that's the same thing that the prophets is doing today. We see that war is coming. So we prophesy, we speaking it. And this is all biblical prophecy anyway. Okay, the Lord has been preparing this thing, everything is playing out. Everything already happened in the spirit. The script is already written. We know there's guaranteed to be a third war. The Bible calls it the War of Armageddon. Armageddon in the Hebrew means mountain of troops. So the Lord, he's gathering these different nations. He's getting them ready. And he's going to bring them into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shaphat, which means the Most High's judgment. He's going to gather all these militaries over there in the so-called Middle East. And that's where this third war is going to be fought at. And Trump proud ass said, yeah, they've been saying for years, and he was referring to the prophets. They've been saying for years that World War III was started in the Middle East. Well, I stopped it. You ain't stopped shit. Look at what you're doing. And then the threats to Iran and BB wants to hit up Iran, saying they're building ballistic missiles and, saying they can put a warhead on it and hit America. They want to get rid of us, and then America's next. Hey, man, it's about to go down. Okay? And the Bible speaks of World War I, World War II, and World War III. Okay? That's why it says it speaks about three woes. Okay, and Revelation, the 9th chapter, goes into World War I. But this is Revelation chapter 11, verse 13. Not 11, 13, 11 and 14. Well, I'll start at verse 11. It says, and after 3 days and a half, which represents 350 years from 1619 to 1969. Okay, when the spirit of Yahweh Bahashem and Hawashai came upon the earth via his prophets. Okay, beginning with the man Abba Bivens, who we strongly believe is Elijah the prophet coming back in a reincarnation. Reincarnation is biblical. Malachi says, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the great and terrible day of the Lord. Okay. So, and that's a topic for another lesson. But you should know that by now. We're in 2026. Okay. But reading on, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them. Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. Okay, we're no longer dry bones. We know, the truth, man. We know the names of our power, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Okay, we know who Esau is. Okay, the Lord has awakened us. Okay, it says, and they stood upon their feet, which is what we do. We stand on our feet, and the scripture speaks about how the righteous is as bold as a lion. Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Then shall the righteous man stand in front of him, which have made no account of his labors. Okay, roughly paraphrasing. Which, matter of fact, let me grab that real quick, actually. Because it says stood upon their feet. That's what we're doing. This Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. And the men of the Lord is doing that. Okay, in front of the faces of Esau, Edom, and the rest of our enemies, man. Okay, we standing in great boldness, telling them that this place is about to be destroyed and you Edomites are going into captivity. Okay, but jumping back to Revelation 11. Okay, it says, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. This is talking about the elites, because you low-class devils, you don't know what's going on. Okay. The only ones that truly know what's going on is the prophets and the elites. Okay. It says, verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And this is what people call the rapture, but no, this is the salvation of Israel, beginning with the elect. And that cloud is referring to the fathership, a so-called UFO, which Esau is tracking this 3-eye atlas. You know, most likely that's a chariot, man. Okay, a chariot of Israel. You got the chariots of men, then you got the chariots of the Most High. The chariots of men in today's time are cars. You know, the chariots of the Most High are the spaceships, the so-called UFOs. Okay. And it says, and their enemies beheld them, because everybody that's left on the earth at that time is going to witness the elect being delivered. Okay. And the enemies ain't just Esau and the other nations. It's 2/3 of our people as well, man. Okay. Verse 13. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, which represent a complete number, you know, because the Lord has an exact number of men, women, and children that's going to die in that second death, which is going to be by thermonuclear destruction. That's what's going to cause this earthquake. Scripture say the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Okay, it says, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And woe means destruction. So the Lord, he's getting ready to bring it, man. Now, we know the MOTB, the implantable device, where you won't be able to buy or sell or function in society unless you have it. That has to become mandatory throughout a majority of the earth before this second death happens. Okay? But we see the Lord is setting all the pieces in motion, man. It's Babylon didn't went too far. Everybody is they're tired of you, man. And the alliances are forming stronger than ever now, because they're saying, look, we need each other. You know, we're very well going to have to fight against, you know, the US, Israel, and NATO. Okay? And Russia is ready, man. Putin said, look, if Europe wants war aid, we're ready to go at war with them. Okay? Putin said, France, he said, if they go to war, they will enter history, but they will exit geography. You know what that means. You know, see, everybody knows that a war with a nuclear power is going to lead to nuclear war. And it's inevitable at this point. All right, it's a lot going on. You know, we just got to stay on our watch, like it says in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Okay? But just want to do this quick video. Lord willing, it was edifying. With that, I'm going to say shalom.